On May 29, 1453, the world changed forever. The mighty city of Constantinople, the jewel of the Byzantine Empire, fell to the armies of the Ottoman Sultan Mehmed II. This was not just the fall of a city, it was the end of an empire, the closing of the Middle Ages, and the dawn of a new world order. Today, we uncover the dramatic story of how Constantinople fell and why it reshaped the course of history. For over 1,000 years, Constantinople had stood as the capital of the Eastern Roman or Byzantine Empire. Founded by Constantine the Great in 330 AD, the city was perfectly placed, straddling Europe and Asia, commanding the vital trade routes between East and West. It was a city of wealth, faith, and unbreakable walls. Its defenses were legendary. The Theodosian Walls, triple fortifications that had repelled sieges for centuries. Enemies from Persians to Arabs to Crusaders had tried to take it. Almost none succeeded. But by the 15th century, Constantinople was a shadow of its former self. The once mighty Byzantine Empire had shrunk to little more than the city itself and a few scattered territories. Meanwhile, a new power had risen in the east, the Ottoman Empire. In 1451, Sultan Mehmed II came to the throne at just 19 years old. But he was no ordinary ruler. Determined, ambitious, and brilliant, he made one goal clear: the conquest of Constantinople. For the Ottomans, taking the city was not just about land, it was about destiny. In April 1453, Mehmed gathered a massive army, perhaps 80,000 strong, and marched on Constantinople. Against him stood Emperor Constantine XI, the last Byzantine emperor, with only around 7,000 defenders, including a few hundred brave allies from Genoa and Venice. The Ottomans brought something new to warfare: giant cannons designed by a Hungarian engineer named Orban. These bombards were capable of blasting holes in walls once thought unbreakable. For 53 days, the city endured relentless bombardment, assaults by sea and land, and wave after wave of Ottoman soldiers. On the morning of May 29th, the final attack began. After hours of brutal combat, breaches opened in the walls. Constantine XI is said to have torn off his imperial regalia and fought as a common soldier, disappearing in the chaos. By noon, the Ottomans had entered the city. The great Hagia Sophia, symbol of Byzantine Christianity, was transformed into a mosque. The empire that had lasted over 1,000 years was gone. Constantinople was now Istanbul, the new capital of the Ottoman Empire. The fall of Constantinople shook Europe. For Christians, it was a devastating loss, but it also sparked change. Scholars fleeing the city carried ancient manuscripts and knowledge to Italy, fueling the Renaissance. Trade routes to the east were cut off, inspiring explorers like Columbus and Vasco da Gama to seek new paths to Asia. The Age of Discovery had begun. The Ottoman Empire rose to dominate Southeast Europe and the Middle East for centuries. Meanwhile, Europe entered an era of science, exploration, and global empires. The Middle Ages had ended. The modern world had begun. The fall of Constantinople was more than a military victory. It was a turning point in human history. The city that once stood as the Second Rome became the bridge between worlds, between East and West, past and future. It reminds us that history is never still. It echoes through time. If you enjoyed this journey into history, don't forget to like, subscribe, and explore more stories that shaped our world. This is Echoes of Time, where history's greatest stories are told simply.